Hua, kia tō tika ta mātu mahi a mā te maia te tiru whakamua me te hihiri, ka taia te arahi I roto I te kotahitanga me te aroha.
Amene, thank you. Item number 3 on the agenda, apologies. I have apologies today, an apology from committee member Mr. James Bowen. Are there any other apologies? I'd like to move that the apology be accepted. May I have a seconder, please? Michelle, thank you. Seconded by Michelle Scullion. All those in favour, please say aye. Aye. And against? That is carried. Thank you. Item number 4, we have declarations of interest relating to items on the agenda. Notifications, if any of you members feel as though you have an item that you have a conflict of interest with, you have the opportunity to say so. Are there any declarations? We appear to have none. Thank you. We now move to public speaking, and I welcome all public participants and applicants this morning. Thank you very much. Thank you. Good morning, Jen. Welcome to our meeting. We look forward to hearing about your application, and staff will guide you there with your public speaking time. Thank you. Go ahead.
Kia ora.
Kia ora, Jen.
Oh, great. Now I can hear you.
Hi. Hi, Jen. You've got 3 minutes to speak to your application, and
Right.
perhaps will go off at 2.5 minutes. So thank you.
Okay, cool. Basically, my name is Jen. I have a studio here in Paikokariki and currently teach after school workshops with primary school age children. The children really enjoy experimenting with clay, and it's a joy to be part of watching that process. Through my workshops, I have discovered that there is a demand for school holiday activities here in Paikokariki, and I'd really like to remove the costs so that acts as a barrier for many of the children's families that want to send their kids to a school holiday workshop. So if I got the grant, I'd be excited to teach more children ceramics at my studio here at the Holtham's Art Studios in here. And clay is a very mindful activity, and I will provide an insight into working with this medium with the children. Each day will have a different focus, everything from sculpture to working with underglaze to hand building, whatever the kids are interested, mainly little things like small bowls and maybe animal creations. But I really, really am excited and really want to share my skills with the community. So hopefully, if I get the grant, I will create something with the children that they'll be proud of and excited by, and be able to access what it's like working in a studio environment. Thank you.
Thank you, Jen. Do any of the committee members have questions to ask about this application?
Yes.
Yes,
Hi.
Michelle.
Oh, go ahead. Hi. I absolutely love what you're wanting to do. I
Great.
applaud it immensely. Just a technical question. Do you teach them about firing? Do they use the kiln, or is it not that sort of clay, if you know what I mean?
Yeah, it will be fired.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
So do you also teach them glazing and all of that?
Yeah, I
process?
mainly with children when they are a beginner, I generally just use underglazes because they're a lot more easier to handle and use.
Can I be can I be 8 years old again and come along?
Oh, thank you. yeah.
Thank you, Grant.
Morning, Jen. Hi, Grant's my name. Quick
Hi.
question. Just reading through your application, I didn't quite understand if the children actually get a chance to present their work to the group and talk about it. Is that
Well,
happening?
I wanted to do it for a week long, so it'll be mainly concentrating on making. Because of timing with firing, it's quite hard to factor that in unless you're doing a longer workshop. So I will arrange for them to come and pick their stuff up after it's been fired.
Right. Okay.
But maybe for the future, with my after school workshops, we talk about that a lot more, but I will talk to them about, you know, what happens when it's fired and how it changes.
Okay. Thank you.
Thanks.
No further. Thank you, Jen. Staff will be in touch with you after this process. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. Enjoy your
Okay,
day.
bye.
Bye.
Hello.
Good morning, Mary. Welcome to the committee this morning. We look forward to hearing about your application. You have 3 minutes to speak, and there'll be a little break, ballot 2.5 minutes for you, and then some questions. So fire away.
That's a big table I'm looking at.
It is. Okay. Can you hear us, Mary? Oh. Fiona, it wasn't me flicking my button. Yeah, okay. Lovely.
My apologies.
No problem at all. Well, we look forward to hearing from you, Mary. So you have the floor.
Thank you. There were many things on my screen, so I was just trying to eliminate some, and I seem to have. Anyway, I'm back. So thank you very much for listening to my application for a start. I'm applying for assistance for 2 concerts next year, March the 5th and April the 2nd. For those of you who don't know me, I've been running a successful series of concerts. I've just completed my 15th season of concerts in Paekakariki using the Memorial Hall. I say successful in bringing classical music to our district, successful in the sense that I've had in the past 2 years of COVID restrictions, I've had no postponements and no cancellations, and I'm rather proud of that. And I'm very pleased to be supporting our brilliant musicians inside New Zealand. Due to the COVID and border restrictions, I haven't been able to bring in my usual artists from outside of New Zealand, but I am hoping to be able to do that next year. COVID has played its part in the reduction of the size of our audiences. And this is why I'm sitting in front of you this morning, offering my comments to the committee. I'm applying for assistance with piano moving. I've had assistance with this in the past. The second thing is a new thing. Part of the my funding, if granted, will be going to Event Finder. The quote you can see in my application is of 600 plus GST. And this is, the point of this is to advertise the concerts around New Zealand. And what I have found this year, and what I'm finding more and more what is happening, people are using our concerts in Paikakariki as an excuse, a reason, not an excuse, a reason to come to Kapiti, to have the weekend and to have this lovely concert on Sunday afternoon, 2:30 till 4:15.
Sounds marvellous. Thank
And
you.
that's round about all I can add to it, but I think I would prefer to give the time over to questions.
Thank you,
please.
Mary. I'll see if there are any questions. Yes, thank you, Grant. Question?
Hi, Mary, Grant here. We have met. My question is, you're going to Event Finder, but you're presenting concerts, and I have attended one of these, they're excellent. You're presenting concerts in quite small venues. If you get a really good response from Event Finder, can you actually manage that demand?
Sorry, not quite getting the point of your question. Could you repeat that?
Okay,
Grant?
sorry, Mary, I'll say again. You're going
Yes.
to Event Finder with part of this money.
Yes.
If you get a really good response, will you be able to cope? Will the venue capacity match the response you get?
Yes, that's a good question. Yes, we would be increasing our audiences from this year. The audiences have been around about 60, and Paikakariki Memorial Hall, we have 240 chairs. I would say, yes, we can well and truly cope with the response.
Okay, great.
Thank you, Mary. Don't appear to be any more questions from the table. Staff will be in touch with you, and thank you and good luck with your concerts.
Thank you very much indeed for giving me the chance to speak to my application today.
Welcome. Good morning, Amanda. Welcome to this morning's meeting. We look forward to hearing about your application, and you have 3 minutes to speak, and there will be a small buzzer for you after 2.5 minutes, and then some questions if needed. Thank you. The floor is yours.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for this opportunity to talk on behalf of the Kapiti Music Centre. I'm here to talk about our event that's booked in for the 19th of November at Te Raukura. So it's an open day for the public and for the family and friends of our students who will be performing. So currently we have over 13 different instruments on offer. We've got 8 tutors and roughly about 190 students. So each of our tutors will be showcasing their instruments with about a 30-minute concert or demonstration, I guess, to anyone, whoever in the community wants to come along and just to see what we're all about. So it's a free event for the community. So last year we put out a Koha tin, which happened to raise about $300, so that's all good. So we'll do that again this year. I've arranged for our Board of Trustee members to be there on the day, just handing out flyers and fielding any questions they have about the centre. Obviously our tutors will be there as well to field any questions. I've also arranged for our ensemble group to be performing in the foyer of KPAC in between each concert. So, so there'll be a continual music happening throughout the whole day, and also the kiosk will be open. So we're hoping just to create quite a relaxed, entertaining atmosphere for the day. Will be advertised at KPAC, so they have some electronic in-house billboards. They also have that massive billboard on Raumati Road. They'll put it on their Facebook page. We'll put it on our Facebook page. And also I'll put it in the local school newsletters with the dates and times and more information. I don't want to have to mention the C word, but COVID has, you know, unfortunately still got a bit of a hangover effect on the centre. So we lost a few of our students at the beginning of the year due to the mandates. So because we conduct our lessons out of KPAC, and that's considered an event centre, we had to abide by the mandate rules. So unfortunately, we lost a few students at the beginning of the year. So we saw a drop in the students, and unfortunately a bit of a drop in the in our income. So we're hoping that this open day will give us a great opportunity to gain some new students, regain the old ones, and just to get the word out there and to Kapiti that that we exist and we've got affordable lessons.
Thank you very much. Are there any questions from the table? Yes, Michelle.
Hello there. Well done. Congratulations. COVID is a terrible word. I'm just being musically curious. What instrumentation do you have in your 13 different instruments? Generally curious.
Yeah, so we've got sax, and it's open to adults as well. We've got saxophone, clarinet, cello, violin. I teach the guitar singing. We've got the band, bass guitar, piano, introduction to music, drums, percussion. So yeah, we sort of hopefully cover the basics anyway. Trumpet.
Brilliant. Where's your flute player?
Oh, what's that, sorry?
I'm very cheeky. I said, where's your flute player? I'm very
flute.
cheeky.
I forgot the flute. I always forget the flute.
Thank you. Just checking.
I have a question for you, Amanda. I noticed that your chocolate fish are costing $1.66 each. Are there any cheaper ways that you can buy the chocolate fish?
Yeah, so normally we go through more Wilson's, which you know a bit of a wholesale discounted store. I can certainly source some cheaper options. I think even last year we did it wasn't the actual chocolate fish, it was a cheaper brand. But yes, we can certainly look into some alternatives.
Oh, look, I have to say it's really good if you're keeping to the original chocolate fish recipe.
Yeah.
Choice. Staff will be in touch with you. Oh, no, question from Deputy Mayor Janet Holbrook.
Thanks, Amanda, and great that the Music Centre is carrying on in full force. That's fantastic. And I'd just like to extend a personal congratulations and thanks to you, Amanda, for your huge efforts through COVID, teaching sometimes up to 50 students, I think, a day online. Just an incredible effort.
Oh,
so yeah, while we're talking chocolates, maybe approach the Kapiti chocolate factory, see if they'll flick you some chocolates for the kids as a sponsorship thing. Support local and all that.
That's a really good idea.
The comment from the table was there's a fish, so they're a fish, so there could be a quota too, so just watch out for that. I just had a question about I don't have the budget in front of me, unfortunately, because we're just having teething with our Smarty Grants program, which we're using. But I did note in the budget that you're bringing in musicians. I think they were being paid $50 each to boost and help with the concert. I just wondered how many hours they're doing and if they're being paid the Creative New Zealand minimum wage of $25 per hour.
So with our cellist this year, yeah, we saw a bit of a drop in our cellists, so we're getting just the beginner ones in, and it's sort of, as you know, Janet, it's to try and get a good sound out of the beginner cellists is pretty difficult. So yeah, they will. So they'll be coming along to some lessons. I'd imagine 2 lessons, and then performing on the day. So yes, I will doubly make sure that they are getting that that minimum wage. I'm thinking I've managed to source just 1 cellist so far that can come in and help, but yeah, I'll keep an eye on those hours, that's for sure.
Yeah, it's just part of our responsibility as a Creative Communities Committee to make sure that we keep an eye on that. So yeah, thanks.
Yeah, no, good point.
Thank you, Amanda, and the staff will be in touch with you through the next step of this process. Thank
Oh,
you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thanks for your time. Bye-bye.
Bye. Thank you. Good morning, Hamish, and welcome to our meeting. We look forward to hearing about your application. So you have 3 minutes to speak on it. There'll be a wee buzzer at 2.5 minutes, and then time for some questions afterwards. Welcome.
Awesome. Thank you, everybody. Apologize for my voice. I'm at home with in a very sick household, so I'll do my best to be as clear as possible. Yeah, so we are running a dance program in Otaki, and we've been doing that since 4th term last year. We've got a pretty awesome group of rangatahi that participate in that. We've got a junior class and we've got a senior class. The junior class is our biggest class. There's probably about 25 to 28 young people in that one. And then our senior class can vary from sort of like 7 through to 15 young people. So I guess the application is just to help put on a show for friends, whānau, just to celebrate sort of like the work that they've done, and yeah, just give them something to also work towards. With COVID, it's been really tricky to find events and opportunities for these young people to actually put together routines and show off their talent. So just being able to gather the young people around their family around them, we just think it's going to be really cool. So yeah, I guess we're just applying for this grant to just make that as special a time as possible.
Thank you. Are there any questions? Yep, Deputy Mayor Janet Holbrook.
Hi, Hamish. Thanks for this. It looks like a great idea and great to see this being delivered in Otaki. I just had a question around the age range of the people that are going to be doing the program.
Yeah.
We do have another application which identifies that it's better to separate out age groups to deliver programs like this, whereas yours doesn't. Wondering how attractive a 17-year-old would find it doing a hip hop class with a much younger participants there as well. I'm just wanting some comments from you on that as somebody who works a lot in the space.
That's a great question, Janet. I can't say I've had a lot of experience in dance myself, but just speaking to our dance tutor, I think what we would probably do is we'd probably stagger it. So what we've realized is there's no way that we could probably get all the friends and whānau into the space that we have if they all decided to come. So we're running out of the Otaki College dance studio, which isn't that big. So I think what we'll probably do is, yeah, we won't have it all at once. We'll probably have a junior bit and then a senior bit at the same time. So I think that's how we're going to do it.
Yeah, sounds like your dance tutor will be able to help you facilitate.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you. We don't appear to have any further questions, but it's an Otaki resident. What a lovely event. Actually, I do have a question. If this is the first time you've held this event?
Sorry. Yes, it is for this. Yeah, for this particular program, it is. Yeah. We would have liked to have done it sooner, but COVID has really affected that.
Okay. Otaki and Main Street and the Yard, you know, Otaki has some pretty cool public performance spaces. Have you thought about doing public performance, or is that something really that you would not do?
Yeah, we were working towards putting on a little performance for the Kite Festival, but of course that got canned. And I know that when the dance tutor approached the young people about doing it, they were quite excited about that. But yeah, we probably haven't put a lot of thought into that at this point, just with the way the events had gone. Yeah, and I think a lot of probably at the moment, because the bulk of our group are juniors, that public performance space might still be a little bit intimidating. But no, you're definitely on the cards in the future. Yeah.
Thank you. That's good to know. It's great to have dance and music waiata all up there in Otaki.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Staff will be in touch with you as we get to the next step of our process here. Thank you and good luck.
Awesome. Thank you, guys. Bye.
Good morning, Mike, and welcome to our meeting this morning. We look forward to hearing about your application. You have 3 minutes to speak on it. There will be a wee buzzer at 2.5 minutes and then time for some questions. So the floor is yours.
Well, tēnā koutou katoa, ko Mike Gibson aho. Thank you for inviting us along. This is great to be able to talk in person today. I am the volunteer treasurer, newly elected, of the Company Youth Orchestra Charitable Trust. We are seeking support for our 2023 weekend orchestral workshop camp at our rancho. Apologies first from Flo McNeil, who normally would speak to you, and I think you've had her over the past few years for various things, but hopefully I'll fill her boots okay. The orchestra members range in age from 10 to 18. They come from a diverse range of ethnicities and are conducted by a musical director, Shadley Van Wyck. He's a professional musician, plays in the NZSO and Orchestra Wellington, and is absolutely brilliant. I also work as a musician and technician, and watching Shadley work with these kids is outstanding. He's got a very special touch. The weekend camp itself is one of the major highlights for the year. We arrive at our rancho on Friday afternoon and we leave late Sunday afternoon. And during that time, the kids are either rehearsing, workshopping with the professional mentors who are musicians from, again, NZSO and Orchestra Wellington, doing a lot of team building, playing games, and also free socialising, which is actually a really important part because they're developing not only their musicianship, but also just self-confidence, making friends with new people that they're getting to know, learning to be leaders, learning to be part of a group, and generally getting inspired and boosting their morale. So it all ends up with a big concert for the parents at the end. And we had one and a half months ago, which I attended, and was very successful. The camp is a safe space for these kids. It's kind of important to think about. These are kids who might not have some other sort of outlets for, perhaps they're not sport people so much, and it gets them together on an equal footing with other kids, and it gives them a community and a place. So when I was attending this year, it was really interesting watching the development just in the space of 2.5 days. You know, they arrive on the Friday afternoon, shy and awkward, and they really bounce out the door at the end of Sunday with stories to tell their parents, and so it sustains them for quite a long time. It's very cool. We also seen tamariki from the orchestra move on to professional careers in music and carrying it forth further into the community. My eldest daughter, Millie, played the cello in KYO for 6 years and is now in her second year at music school in Vic University and is playing in the National Youth Orchestra. This also had another member who was a featured young composer 4 years ago, and she's now just had a piece of music performed by the Dunedin Symphony Orchestra and is also playing in the symphony orchestra down there. So it's a really great launching pad for some of these kids as well. Aside from the camp, we also rehearse each week. We put on various concerts throughout the year. We smaller venues often for these concerts, and we play at retirement homes from time to time. But COVID has really sort of interrupted that whole ability to get out there and do these smaller concerts. And we're hoping that we stay in a good place now and we're able to get back into that mode of performing. This year is particularly tight, I must admit, after the last few years of COVID, and we're trying to make this all happen whilst keeping our membership costs down and making ourselves available to all families. We have special needs, we actively seek out special needs kids and support them. And for people in financial hardship, we also offer scholarships to support them through being able to pay for their membership fees and transport to events and camps.
Thank you. That's absolutely fabulous.
Yeah.
Mike, are there any questions from the committee? Yes, Grant Stevenson.
Good morning. Hi, Grant's my name.
Good.
I suppose the purchase of an instrument, the cost can be a barrier for children who do want to join you but can't afford to. I think your scholarships are a great idea. In fact, I think the camp's a great idea too. But I just wondered how you manage that problem of a child not being able to purchase an instrument they wish to play. Is that something you can help with, or is that a bit beyond your resource?
We help them by directing them to places where you're able to hire them, basically, or if you go to the Kapiti Music Centre, which most of these kids are for their tuition, there are instruments available through the music centre. But
Right.
it is a bit of a trick to make sure some of those more expensive instruments are available.
Yes. Just showing my ignorance here, but as musicians retire, what happens to their instruments? Is there a kind of a violin amnesty where you can send your no longer used violin in? Does the music industry operate that kind of system?
No, I haven't seen that work. There is a system where we have, for the really expensive instruments, they will be held in a trust that is then sponsors the instruments out to young professionals as they develop their career.
Right. Okay. Thanks.
Yeah. You're welcome.
Thank you, Councillor Hobart.
Yeah. Hi, Mike. Janet here.
Hello, Janet.
I think it's a great point that Grant raises there, and something that needs to be looked at so that classical music training is accessible for everyone, but probably not the sole responsibility of the Kapiti Youth Orchestra. I was just going to ask, we've got a really tight funding round this time. Will you be able to proceed with this event if we're not able to fund the full amount that you've requested?
I couldn't look in that crystal ball and give you 100% answer, but my feeling, talking with the others, is it's going to be very hard for us to continue to put on this particular event.
Thanks, Mike.
Yeah.
Michelle.
Hi, Mike. Well done. Congratulations. What does your organisation do in terms of external sponsorship seeking? And as a fellow musician, I know how hard that is, but it is possible.
It is, and we have various funding applications going out left, right and centre. Unfortunately, being turned down for quite a few of them recently.
Join the club.
Yeah, like Kathleen Alice Boyd, we thought we were in pretty good there, but we missed out, unfortunately. This particular year, we haven't got a funding officer as part of the committee. We've sort of struggled to get enough parents sort of in there. As you probably know, the funding, there's a lot of work required to locate where the funds can be and to put the applications out there, but we have definitely chased them to the best of our means.
Thank you very much for your answers.
You're welcome.
Thanks, Mike. I have two questions. Firstly, there are 25 people, or 30, is it, going to the camp at 95 each. As you've said, this application's been coming across the table each year. Have you thought of putting the camp fee up a wee bit to help cover the cost and maybe lessen reliance on grant rounds?
as a fairly new member of the board, my understanding is the fees used to be 75, so they have gone up to 95. And I guess there's a trade-off between putting those fees up and having people unable to attend. And the feeling is we're at that in the sweet spot, but we'll certainly further discuss that.
And does $95 per person actually cover the cost of a weekend camp, bed and board and food at El Rancho?
No. So 95 brings us to about 2,800 if there's 30 people attending. And the camp costs themselves are up around 5,000. I'm just scrolling. 6,500 with all the tuition fees and so forth. And in that we're not using their catering. We're doing cheapest catering we can from Pack and Save ourselves, the parents. So we're really kind of trying to keep it tight.
Oh, that's kind of nice. And thank you for your patience. Just one other question. So if there are 30 spaces for students, what's your membership of the actual youth orchestra? Are these spaces filled quickly? Are there children that miss out each year because there aren't enough spaces? And are the spaces opened to people who are not youngsters who are not involved in the youth orchestra during the year or members of it?
The spaces are definitely for the members only, although we do allow the odd sibling to come along, especially the ones who are, going to be joining the orchestra in the coming years. But they will be the responsibility of the parents themselves to cover the costs. The numbers bounce between 25 and just over 30. We're constantly gaining members, losing members. The feeling is, we were up over 30 before COVID, and we're working our way back up there. At the moment, we're sitting at 25.
That's fabulous. Thanks. It helps give an understanding of how it all works. Look, staff will be in touch with you at the next part of this process. Thank you very much and good luck. Thank you.
Ngā mihi nui ki a koe. Kia ora.
Welcome. Good morning, Anna and Sarah. We're looking forward to hearing all about your application. So you have 3 minutes to speak, and a little buzzer will go off after 2.5 minutes, and then there'll be some time for some questions. So the floor is yours.
Lovely, thank you. This is Anna. Can you see me or hear me?
Yes, we
least?
can see you.
Yes.
Lovely. Thank you.
Great, thank you. I'll just give you the background. The background to this is that my daughter was attending an art class at Te Ara Korowhai for children who are neurodiverse, and which sort of gave me the idea of asking the manager there, Sarah, about setting up similar type of classes for people who have OCD. Basically, the Te Ara Korowhai is, I saw the benefit of using creativity to express experiences and to connect with other children and learn new art and techniques and skills. They working towards pieces for the Arts Trail, which is the Kapiti Arts Trail. It gave all the children a sense of achievement and confidence. And I wanted to create an opportunity for people experiencing OCD in our community to do the same. It's a chance to come together and gain some support and inclusion, and also to learn some new art skills and techniques. The class will be jointly organised between myself and the staff at Te Ara Korowhai, and we are contracting the art tutor and providing the art space for the class. It will be advertised on the website and the Facebook page and shared to networks and stakeholders, including other local community organisations. And also I'll I've been gauging interest on a OCD support group Facebook page as well, and I've had some really good initial interest from parents of children, and mainly teenagers who are obviously quite interested in art themselves and really interested in this opportunity to be able to come in and work in a space like that where it's quite well resourced, and there's a lot of different sort of mediums and things that they can use in there and use to create hopefully some beautiful art. Te Ara Korowhai, I don't know if you know, I forgot to say I have COVID at the moment, so I sound like I've got cold all in my mouth. I apologise. I'm on the end of it, but if I sound croaky, that's why. Te Ara Korowhai has a proven track record of working with marginalised and vulnerable individuals in our community to gain confidence in artistic expression and to work towards a strength-based strategy for learning new creative modalities. They've held exhibitions at Mahara Gallery, the Art for All program, and the centre's own gallery at Raumati Beach, which is where the classes will take place. And also they've successfully participated in the Kapiti Coast Arts Trail for the last 2 years. These classes will explore a range of different art mediums, including painting, sculpture, and sketching, and will work with individuals' current strengths to increase their skill base and confidence in utilising various art materials for expression. It is intended to be suitable for all levels from beginner to intermediate, where in an environment of trust and safety is established and everyone respects each other and learns from each other. Early on in the classes, the participants will work towards developing pieces that will be included in the Te Ara Korowhai Kapiti Coast Arts Trail exhibition. As the classes will extend beyond the Arts Trail dates, further pieces will then be displayed at the gallery and become part of an ongoing exhibition available for public viewing. These classes will bring members of our community together and provide a safe space to express themselves, reducing barriers to attendance such as cost or anxiety. The classes will be run by an experienced art tutor who is adept at working with participants to highlight their strengths and identify areas to be worked on. These classes will be tailored for those in our community who have been potentially isolated by their experiences with OCD, while the main goal is the creative participation and expression. The natural result will also see a reduction of isolation in the community.
Thank you, Anna. That sounds wonderful.
Okay.
Yeah, no, it's good. We do have the application here in front of us.
Sure.
I just wondered if anyone had any questions for you. Yes, thank you. Grant Stevenson.
Hi, Anna. Grant's my name.
Hi.
Just a quick question, and I know medical science doesn't know everything, but have you had any endorsements of the work you're doing from the medical community?
I've had, well, not specifically for this, but I certainly could if that was required. Have added some links into the application just about some of the benefits of art therapy, obviously for a range of mental illnesses, but in particular for OCD. I know that there's a lot of in a lot of the support groups and the research that I've done and stuff, there's a lot of expression around OCD and its effects through art. But I certainly have contacts in Mental Health Foundation, so I could certainly get some sort of endorsement if that was an issue, if you wanted that. Well,
yeah, I mean, I'm in no way an expert in this, so I think the work you're doing is wonderful. I just wondered if mainstream medicine had anything to say as well.
Certainly, yeah, probably there's a couple of links there.
Can I add something, Anna?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, I mean, obviously we're a non-clinical centre, so we don't have counsellors and therapists. We're a peer-based centre, and from our track record, we started in 2013. We work primarily with creativity as a therapeutic process. The focus is always the creativity, but there are natural wellbeing results that kind of come from that, and we see that on a daily basis. So yeah, I think it's important to recognise this is a creative class. It has natural therapeutic benefits, but the focus is on providing that space for that creative process and allowing them to make connections and have participations and support. But it's important to acknowledge this is non-clinical.
Yeah, no, that's fine.
Yes.
Thank you.
Cool.
Thank you, Anna and Sarah, for this information. Oh, sorry, Janet Holbrook.
Hi, Janet here. Thank
Hi.
you. Thanks for all the work that Te Aotearoa do. Just incredible space and a really wonderful programs that are offered there. So I have full faith that this will be up to that, high standard. Just I'm not seeing. Apologies if I've missed it, but I'm not sure whether this is an art class, an art therapy class, whether it's going to be taken by an art therapist or an artist.
Yeah.
Under people, it's not clear. We usually know who is delivering the program, and I'm not seeing that there.
Sure. Yeah, so it's one of our current tutors, Nikki. She is studying to be an art therapist at the moment, but it's not an art therapy class. Obviously, as I said, we have to be mindful of where our strengths lie, and we are non-clinical. She has an arts degree and an amazing kind of work experience and history in the arts field and as an art tutor. So as much as she has the therapeutic study, which she's undergoing at the moment, it is an art class. It's not an art therapy class.
Thank you.
I can personally vouch to just how well my daughter and the other girls in the class, this is the sort of slightly younger group in the class for the neurodiverse children, just how fantastic Nikki was with them and the lovely things that they produced as well. So just from a personal point of view, I've sort of seen it in action. And she was, it was really, you could really see them just like sort of, normally there'd be a reluctance for my daughter to attend these sort of classes, and she was very confident and comfortable in them. And that's sort of what led to the idea of giving this opportunity to people who have OCD as well.
Yeah, that's great to hear. If you do any future applications, it would be good to have that information under the section 3 people.
Okay, sure.
So, yeah, but thank you very much. That sounds wonderful. Thanks.
Thank you both for your mahi. Yes, question from Michelle Scullion.
I turned myself off. Well done. Congratulations. I think it's wonderful what you're doing. I have 2 visions and questions, and I ask most people this because I do it myself. Do you ever knock on doors of art suppliers for assistance for your materials? There's a lot of big
suppliers.
Art supplies. Gordon Harris's. I've discovered this amazing shop in Wanganui called Inked. There's the warehouse. There's Whitcoulls. There's all these places that the warehouse stationery where they have a lot. Do you ever actually go? And that would just assist your budget.
Yeah, we actually have Nikki's probably the expert in this, but we have standing agreements with warehouse stationery, and I think Spotlight is the other one where they actually give us a pretty good discount because of the fact that we're a community organisation, we're a not-for-profit. So Nikki has spent some time approaching different suppliers in the area to kind of build that relationship. So yeah, we do have pretty good relationships with local suppliers.
That's brilliant, because so often, the All Blacks don't have to do cake stalls and sausage sizzles, but for some reason art's being pushed into these areas to raise money. That's what we have to do. But I have no problem with asking those organisations, and I hope Nikki goes that way as well, to say, well, actually, can you this year actually sponsor us and give us the material rather than you guys having to pay for it? The second thing that I'm asking is, I don't mean to be out of line, but does the kids' works get displayed at some point once they've completed the work? Fantastic.
Yep.
So where and when does that happen?
So it's there's been 2 block courses of the neurodiverse kids art class. They will be displayed in the Kapiti Arts Trail exhibition that we're holding, and with this OCD Obviously, the dates are going to be a little bit tighter because it won't, with the funding, the dates, it won't start until October. Arts Trail first 2 weekends of November. So the initial art will be displayed in the Arts Trail, and then, as Anna said, pieces that are completed after those dates will be displayed in our gallery here. We have a really, really good professionally set up gallery here at the centre. So yes, it will all be displayed.
That's fantastic.
Not every single piece, but
Sure.
select pieces from each person. Yeah,
Absolutely. And the kids get to choose themselves what they want to show if they're allowed to.
All our members work with the artists who are curating it to decide which pieces.
Brilliant.
Go in. So all of our members have a say in that. Yeah.
That's wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ladies. Staff will be in touch with you at the next step of our process.
Can I just add one thing? Sorry, just before we go, just also just that when we do the promotion for this as well, obviously I've got some really good ideas and some people who can help me create some sort of posters and things that will incorporate all the creative community schemes and everything on the advertising for this as well, hopefully as part of the OCD Awareness Week. So I just want to put that plug in there, just that that all that will be done as well.
Thank you, marvellous.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thanks a lot. Bye.
Excellent.
Good morning, Joe.
Good morning.
Councillor Jackie Elliott, Chair of today's meeting. Welcome. We're looking forward to hearing about your application. And there'll be, you can speak for 3 minutes. There's a little buzzer after 2.5 minutes, and then there'll be time for a few brief questions.
Okay. Would you like me to start now?
Yes, please.
Yep,
Floor is
okay.
yours.
So my name is Jo Pico. I'm from the SHED project in Kapiti. And so we've worked, as you probably know, with the disability sector. And for this year, we're requesting funding for an end-of-year production. Our people have been working really hard on getting new skills and growing into their art performing area. So we would like to offer a dance, music and drama performance to our community. We had a trial run earlier on this month and in July, and we think that by the end of the year we can create a really nice performance that the whole community can enjoy, and we would like your help to do that.
Wonderful, thank you. Are there any questions from the floor? Can't see any. But thank you so much. Staff will be in touch with you on the next part of this process. Lovely.
Okay.
Thank you, Jo.
Thank you.
That caught us up here. Thank you. Morena Ruth, are you there? Hello, Ruth. Okay.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, Morena, good morning. I'm Councillor Jackie Elliott chairing this meeting. Committee looks forward to hearing you talk about your application. You have 3 minutes to speak, and a wee buzzer will go off after 2.5 minutes, and then there may be some brief questions for you.
Okay,
thank you. Floor is yours.
Right, thank you. Thank you for letting me speak to our application. Kapiti Concert Orchestra is coming up in 2 years' time to its 20th year anniversary, and we do 3 concerts in the community a year. And our third concert is usually a concert of smaller pieces, not a sort of a typical concert as such. And we do that to kind of reach different parts of the community and attract them to coming to an orchestral concert. This concert is around sort of classical folk music, basically. And it includes a klezmer suite by Ross Harris, and he's arranged that for our orchestra. And we're also doing dances from the opera The Bartered Bride, Banks of Green Willow by George Butterworth, Romanian folk dances by Bela Bartok, Pastoral Suite by Shabria, and English folk song suites by Vaughan Williams. So it's a bit of a eclectic mix, some well-known music and some music that's not quite so well-known, to introduce different music to our audiences. Our conductor for the audience is Rachel Hyde. She's a youngish Wellington-based conductor. And Anna Gordon is going to be singing with the klezmer suite. She's once again a Wellington-based singer, and Ross Harris has done the arrangements for us, as I've already mentioned, for the concert. We usually have around 250 to 300 people at our concerts, and we're trying to grow that. We've recently taken on Donald Armstrong as our resident conductor, so the performance of the orchestra is actually getting a lot better with his tutorage. So we've got a 3-year contract with him to grow the orchestra's ensemble playing. We have quite a mix of players, ranging from people who are probably about grade 7, grade 8, through to who are amateur musicians, through to retired professional musicians as well. And we draw on the wider region to bring in specialist instrumentalists, or where we're short of players for any of our concerts as well. Is there anything else that people want to know?
Yes, thank you. Councillor Holbrook.
Thank you, Ruth. This is a brilliant piece of programming. I just wanted to say that I do like good programming, and this is just absolutely fantastic. So you say in your application that you're trying to reach a broader audience, and you've said that you're going to do that with the program that's been identified. Is there going to be any change to the marketing and promotion that the orchestra does for this concert to reach that audience?
We're probably more or less going to do what we normally do, because it's it's affordable for us to do that. We have got some time on one of the Radio New Zealand programs with an interview with Anna Gordon and Ross Harris, which is something that we don't normally do, just to kind of build the profile of the orchestra a bit higher, but happy to take any advice on other opportunities to, in terms of our publicity.
You're happy to take that offline with you, Ruth.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, we'll be in touch.
Yeah.
Michelle Scullion.
Hello there. Congratulations the way you've gone. I'd just like to say a personal note here. I actually attended your very, 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 very first rehearsal. I cannot believe that's 20 years ago. So I can officially say that I saw the birth of an orchestra. I went to your first concert. I congratulate you immensely. And I agree with Councillor Janet, that your program is really good. I'm very impressed, including using New Zealander Ross Harris, and you're a soloist, and it's great. If we've got challenges this year with our funding rounds, how would you cope if you didn't get the full amount that you asked for? Would you still be able to continue?
Yes, we would be able to continue. We do have a little bit of financial reserve in the orchestra, but we're also trying to save up some money for our 20-year anniversary as well, and hoping to commission a work for that with Ken Young, who's been quite involved in the orchestra over the years.
Absolutely, yeah, fantastic. Congratulations.
Thanks.
Ruth, I have a wee question as well, and that is, what is the age range of your participating musicians at the moment?
Right. I mean, the majority of us are retired, probably 50 plus. But we're trying to get a lot more younger people into the orchestra. We do have people, from 15 onwards, but we're trying to, our plans are to try and encourage good school children into the orchestra as well, and placing them beside really experienced players in the orchestra to help grow the future of the orchestra and grow talent in the area as well.
That's really great to hear, actually. I can really, really see that happening, and we've and being a worthwhile promoting and putting energy towards. Wonderful. And Grant Stevenson's got a question.
Look, just a quick backup question on that. Do you have a relationship with the Kapiti Youth Orchestra? And if so, what does that look like?
Sorry, I'm not sure whether we do. I'm fairly new to the committee. I know that we're in touch with a number of teachers in the area and the schools themselves, but I'm not sure about the youth orchestra. I haven't heard any mention of that, but I can get back to you on that if you like.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, that's it from the floor. Oh, Grant, just push your button there. Thank you. Awesome. Hey, look, thank you very much. The staff will be in touch with you on the very next step of our process here, and good luck. And thank you very much for your application.
Thank you very much.
Lovely. Lovely. How's she going? Morena Doris, I'm Councillor Jackie Elliott, chairing this meeting this morning. Welcome. Hello.
Yes, hello.
Morena Doris, look, thank you for your application. I can firstly say I'm absolutely delighted to be having more permanent traditional carving here in Kapiti. It's a wonderful project. You have 3 minutes to speak on it, and there will be a wee buzzer after 2.5 minutes, Doris, and then the panel may want to ask you some questions. So the floor is yours.
Thank you so much for this opportunity. It's a massive project. It's a massive project. It's a wonderful gift. Master carver Chris Garrettson is offering the Te Rā community to support and help to carve the story of the land and of our place and our school. And this has been going on for 2 years. It's really encompassing the whole process. It started from bottom up, upskilling the community. It's wanting to do the whole process, being engaged with choosing the site for the trees, choosing the trees, felling the trees, blessing the trees, bringing them here, preparing it all. We're entering the last stage now of this process. Now the actual carving has begun half a year ago. All we are applying for is to support the honorarium of the master carver, Chris. The rest is a massive volunteering effort of the community members, freely giving their time for all the work. It's rich learning, so much rich learning, so much community engagement. and the outcome will be visible for everyone. So it's really art in the community, made by the community, guided by deeply professional skill and so much knowledge that everyone's showered with learning, cultural and practical skills. I'd love to leave enough time for questions.
Absolutely.
Yeah. The gist of the story is it's just for the honorarium. The rest of all the costs we're carrying voluntarily.
Thank you. Question here from Deputy Mayor Janet Holbrook.
I agree. This is a wonderful project. Absolutely outstanding, and the learnings for the school community in particular, fantastic. This is a small amount of funding in a very large project. And the purpose of the Creative Community Scheme is primarily for smaller projects. It's not often that we fund such a small proportion of a project. How would the school cope if we weren't able to fund the full amount today?
We are fundraising. I mean, this is the amount that we have. It's an actual cost. It's no longer just can be kept voluntarily. It's the funding is directly for Chris. So it's more fundraising. We're just trying the hardest, which of course has been hard with COVID and all that, all the efforts, all the fundraising efforts have gone harder the last year, and we're resuming them now. It's yeah, we're so committed to it all. It's just been so difficult, and we would appreciate support, but whatever we get, we'll hugely value and appreciate it, make use of it.
Yeah, thank you very much for your answer, and congratulations. What an incredible project, and I so look forward to seeing the finished result. Thank you.
Well, you walk past it every day. You know, it's Chris's carving that you walk past every day in the council.
True.
Yeah, that's true.
Any further questions? I have a question, Doris. I'm curious to know, and I'm sorry if I've missed it in your application, but what sort of tree, what species was chosen in the end for this carving?
Yeah, it's a redwood, and it's like, and you know, it's just what is available. We wanted to really stay local. The original was a recommendation way from north to, you know, to go into Totara, but we ended up needing to be practical and what we could, you know, get from the local farmer in Paudanui that's connected to the school in a few roundabout corners. So it was just like helpful to stay local.
Yeah, it certainly would be, transport costs and everything.
Oh my
look,
goodness,
I'm really impressed with your application and the variety of different ways that you have fundraised yourselves as a community. I'm very disappointed to see the big main gates and the carving down on Paraparamu School that have been there for all my entire life and many before that are gone now. So I really do congratulate. If you could pass on to your staff and parents and community there, absolutely congratulations on this project. Good luck with it. Staff will be in touch from here in the next step of our process. And thank you very much for your mahi.
Yeah, thank you much for the opportunity. Much appreciated.
Mute. Got it. Here we go, and we're going to start the video. Kia ora. Morena.
Kia ora, morena to you both. Kia ora. We're watching a video, are we? No? Okay. Look, thank you so much for coming in this morning to talk to us about your application. You have 3 minutes to speak, and there'll be a wee buzzer after 2.5 minutes, and then with some time for some questioning. So the floor is yours.
Oh, fantastic. Tihe mauri ora. Kia ora. Ko Harry aho. My name is Harry. Ko Moko Moko ho. My name is Moko Moko. And we, Moko Moko, grew up in the Kapiti Coast. I'm sort of a new arrival from the South Island, but we both moved here for the Te Reo Māori, really. Well, that's the reason why we're here now. Yeah, that's the reason why our partnership is here anyway. And one of our teachers at the Wānanga o Raukawa started talking to both of us about a month ago, which was perfect timing to look into this fund, about the recent bout of youth suicide, well, the ongoing epidemic of youth suicide in our region, in the Kapiti region. And Ngāne basically asked us if we could think of something that we can do that's designed for youth empowerment, and that's positive, and that's not necessarily dwelling on what's going on in the negative elements, but more creating space for positive expression. So, we're both professional creators. I'm a music producer. Mokomoko's, a touring musician. And we thought it would be empowering to offer a beat making, a DJing, and a freestyle rapping workshop to help the youth express themselves in a healthy way. The funding that we will receive from the Kapiti Coast District Council, all going well, will mainly be spent on different tutors' times to create and facilitate these workshops. So we have 4 different tutors in mind, professional music producers, including ourselves and some friends of ours. We have already secured, since we've put our application through, we've been speaking to people throughout the Otaki and Kapiti regions. And through that as well, we've already secured a venue at the Gorge in Otaki for free, as the owner and operator, Phil, is really enthusiastic in supporting our kaupapa that we've presented to him. And so we've decided to ask the council in support of this grassroots movement, because we see it as an opportunity to form a meaningful partnership, first and foremost, and to give back to the community who has raised us and put us in our situation where we are now, and to address this pressing issue of youth suicide that is that's in Kapiti and has been in Kapiti for a really long time as well. So, and I guess the reason why we focus on the creative element is, and the reason why we spend so much time being creative ourselves, because we understand the healing. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, it's a mental health sort of space as well, and it's a youth mental health space is what we're trying to create as well. Changing where energy is being directed and being spent at the moment as well, into a more place where people will be able to create and own skills that they may already have, but may not have the facility in order to put those in place as well, and to be who they actually feel that they want to be. Essentially upskilling our youth.
Sounds fantastic. Thank you both. Are there any questions from the floor? Yes, there's a question here. Tama.
Kia ora. Awesome kaupapa. This looks like a great project. I was just wondering if you guys had a timeline for it, because in the application I couldn't find one.
We wanted to develop that timeline with Ngāne. So essentially Ngāne has said, if you get something up and running, I will bring the youth. So we have the youth ready to go. We have the contact person who's sort of like a intermediary between us and the audience that we're hoping to come along. And so we want to develop that with Ngāne. And awesome. That's also, I suppose, working with Phil at the Gorge as well, who wants to bring us into a meeting. But we wanted to have a further chat with you before we decided and went through with what we thought we could do, what we could offer. So it's kind of in between those two spaces at the moment, but both and kind of all parties sort of feel like they are ready to go. So yeah, I would say, in the next couple of months, I would say, in order to begin a starting anyway.
Thank you. And Michelle, have you got a question there?
I have. Well done, guys. I think it's fantastic.
Thank you.
I'm just being curious, and don't accuse me of being sexist, I'll accuse myself. Are you encouraging both males and females? If a person who is a musician, I know what I'm talking about, and fortunately I've got my own studio, but a lot of, including going into a music shop, it's music and electronic music is very male dominated and driven. Are you going to try and address and get a female balance?
Hang on a moment. Fiona, what's going on there?
Cool, there we are. So in terms of our tutors, we have a balance. There's 2 wahine tutors, both professional music producers and DJs. It's just that neither of them could be here right now because they actually both performed last night. So in Wellington, but Yes, so in terms of the tutors, there will be an equal balance of Tane and Wahine. But in terms of the youth, I can't speak to that other than we'll take this feedback to Nanikoa and ask that it's not just young, young male identifying people that are coming along.
Thank you. And I have a second question just to do with your budget. And I do appreciate you listening to me about that because it's a real problem. And good luck. My second question is, in your budget, I'm just curious, it says $400 for transport. What's that about?
That would be for getting the tutors to and from the gorge. One of them's based in, two of them are based in Wellington. So we were just over the period of the workshops, we just want to make sure that we're budgeting for that expense.
And so that as well, they'll be bringing the gear as well,
yeah,
and
bringing
that sort of thing, so they wouldn't be able to take a train or anything. So it's more just petrol costs.
Basically, over the different, because we're imagining it over several weekends. So.
Gotcha. Thank you very much.
Thank you. And Janet Holbrook.
Yeah, I agree. There's an incredible kaupapa and sounds like it could be the start of something that could, continue. It's really exciting to be hearing about this at the very kind of birth of something which could be really incredible.
Yeah.
So I'm just really excited about it. I feel like we're just going to get some incredible creativity out of this. So, I mean, I don't speak on behalf of my colleagues around the table necessarily, and we haven't made a decision yet, but yeah, it looks incredible. I just want a little bit of detail. So, you've talked a lot about Naniko. Could you tell me a little bit more about that person and what these connections are, what this rōpū is that you talk about, and where the youth are going to come from? Are you targeting at-risk youth in particular? What's the age range of the youth? A few questions in there, sorry.
I really appreciate that. So the reason why Naniko Wilson is our go-to person is we got to know her through studying at the Wānanga o Raukawa, where she was our primary kaiako, our teacher, learning te reo Māori. And I go around to her house pretty often because I play in a band with her partner who plays the didgeridoo in my band. And we were just talking, following these youth suicides. She said that she is setting up a rōpū within her hapu to find solutions, and that they had decided amongst themselves, even before approaching us, that something creative and hands-on and productive and expressive would be ideal. So she approached us. There are other members of her hapu who she is involved with, but we haven't communicated with them yet because we thought first we'll see if we can get some funding, and then we'll develop this further.
That's fantastic. Thank you. Are there any other questions? Sorry, I've just taken over the chair because
did that answer your question? Sorry,
it did answer my question. Thank you very much. Okay. Oh, the only missing bit was age range. Sorry. But it sounds like you don't know about that yet. It's just
yeah, they are teenagers. They are essentially 13 to 19-year-olds.
Oh, that's great. Thank you. That does answer my questions.
Thank you. I have a further question, and that is, are you two both students or tutors at the Wānanga? And how long are you going to be here? Because frankly, I'd like to know how we can capture and keep you here in the Rohi.
So currently I am the first year at Wānanga o Raukawa doing the Hikareo program as well, which is the Immersion Full Te Reo Māori course. Harry is an ex-student. He did it last year as well, and so we're living together as well. So we like to speak to Reo all the time and that sort of thing. And that's how our friendship has been growing as well. And I plan to be here in Otaki and finishing that course for a 3-year degree. And so with that as well, I do plan to be in Otaki in the Kapiti region as well for the next 2.5 years at least. So within that space as well.
This is home, eh?
Yeah, this is home, and this is this is where I grew up as well. And I've personally lost a couple of very close friends to suicide, so it is a kaupapa that's very close to my heart. And I've always felt that for me as a freestyler, and this is kind of what I do as well, is it gives people another channel in order to express things that they might not be able to express in a way that is you know, what maybe the conventional way of doing it. And it can be a role of therapy as well within that space as well, allowing people to express things so they're not necessarily building things up, so then they can actually release things, you know. So that's kind of where I'm coming from as a teacher anyway, and as a practicer of what I preach as well. So that's when, you know, when Nanako approached myself after she had approached Harry as well, and then we were like, well, let's do this thing together, and we got the other people on board, the Wahine, which is fantastic, and they're incredible musicians as well, and really great people. So it's like, it does feel with this timing and with the spacing of everything that's happening at the moment that it is the thing that's meant to happen. So that's why we approach you guys, and that's sort of where we are at the moment now. So
I sort of feel like, you know, so Moko Moko's 30, I'm 27, Caitlin is 21, and Aya is 20. So we're not too much older. You know, we feel like we can sort of relate, and when we've been designing these workshops, we really want to put ourselves back when we were 15 and think about what we would want. And really it's just the space is so important, just having some space to be and to express yourself and not feel like it's just open sort of thing.
Yeah, oh, that's lovely. Look, cheeky question, beautifully answered, and I'm really, really impressed with your emotional maturity, frankly, the two of you. You know, you're really awesome. I have another question here from Michelle.
Hi there. 2 more questions. What's screaming loud and clear inside my head is, once you get this up and running, or even to get it up and running, will you approach various schools in the community to sell what you're doing? Because I think what you're doing is brilliant. I really do. Second question relates to it. What's your performance outcome? Are you going to try and think about where you can start performing? And with what you're up to, I don't know why, but I just suddenly see them all. Years ago, I was a dancer. When I started dancing, I was pretty useless. But one of the things we did was a mob performance at the very first food fair. It was hilarious. I was the worst. Look at the video, you can see it. But it doesn't matter. It kept me going, and I'm still dancing 10 years later, and I'm not a dancer. But what is you know, I'd love to see you guys at Coastlands one Saturday morning, you know, just suddenly turn up bang with all your students and just lay it on us.
I think you can. I think that's a really cool idea. But I feel like that would be an idea that we would want to come from the youth rather than for us to impose them. And I understand, of course, it's a marketing opportunity for the council, which is great. You know, like, oh, look at them performing at Coastlands Mall and under them. But really, like we're saying, the main thing is just, it's for them, and it's for them to have a chance to speak. And a lot of what, like Moko was saying earlier, when you are freestyling, and you're being vulnerable, you don't necessarily know what's going to come out of your mouth, but it will be true to you.
That's why I said eventually, not initially.
Eventually,
Because you know what it's like. You know what it's like when you do it and you get applause. It's an amazing adrenaline. You know, when people show their appreciation, it's just such a good feeling.
And I suppose with that as well, what our sort of our finished product of what we're already kind of brainstorming in regards to our final space is that we hold a performance. We hold a performance with the rangatahi as well, who have gone through that course as well. So maybe we put them into a group where someone has been really feeling like that they're enjoying the music production side of things, so they've created a beat, and then someone is really feeling that they are enjoying the DJing side of things, so they DJ that performance, and then someone is feeling that they are really enjoying the freestyle thing, and they freestyle over top of that beat that got created, and then this creates this, it creates a kinship within the group as well as like showing up in like through the other parts of it as well, so it all works in together. That's kind of how we see it as well.
I'd also like to mention that Otaki has quite a few, the Kapiti Coast actually has quite a few successful musicians on the international radar right now, such as Maratike, such as Pete's.
Yep, Seaside Sloths.
Seaside Sloths. So I want the youth to be able to see that this is not just something that they can do for their mental well-being, but it's also actually a career path, for them. And they'll be meeting professional creatives that
It's really inspiring, guys. Look, we have to move on with a couple more people to come and speak to us, but we're loving this. And please come back and perform to us as part of your application presentation next year, okay? Get off the Zoom, come into Chambers with a couple of your rangatahi and do a performance for us. That'd be really cool. Our staff will be in touch with you on the next step of the process, okay?
Okay.
Well done. Ki kaha.
Tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou. Ngā mihi. Ngā mihi, ngā mihi koutou.
Marina, Jonas, welcome back. We do remember last time you presented to us. It's great to see you back here with another application. You have 3 minutes to talk to your project. Right now, there'll be a wee buzzer at 2.5 minutes, and then we really have to wind up at 3 minutes for a few questions if there are any. So thank you and welcome.
Kia koutou. Thanks for having me again. Last time I was told at my application that there were too many great applications, so there was no space for me. So try it again. So my name is Jonas. I moved to Kapiti 1 year ago, and I'm a music therapist, primary teacher. Currently, I'm a class teacher in Raphael House in the Steiner School in Hutt Valley, and I also did quite a few workshops or work in the schools in the Kapiti, like Kena or Otaki School or Tera School. And I was getting clear feedback from the parents as well as from the staff and from especially from the children that they are missing the kind of work what I'm offering, because if I come to the school just for 1 term, then they would like to continue. So that's why I'm thinking of offering I think the main part of what I'm offering is really quality socializing, but it's through the music and effective for all ages. It works the way I did this in all the districts in the Wairarapa as well as in Wellington City, and we just have a weekly sessions. This application is just for 6 sessions. So weekly we meet in the afternoon, 5 p.m. with parents and kids, all ages, and just have fun with the music, because I have a really large collection of instruments. There are special music therapy instruments that are tuned the way that really everyone is included, and no one needs to know anything about the instruments to be part of it. And then that's followed by the session just for the adults, which is more meditative sometimes, but not always. And it's an opportunity for people to connect with the music, not as, it's not religious, it's not like a kirtan, or it's really a mainstream focus activity where professional musicians can play along with people who never played any musical instrument. And so it always creates very interesting connections. And usually when the project is over, there's always at least one person who just said, no, let's carry on, and people continue and meet in each other living rooms and bring their instruments. And so it's most likely creating a little new subculture which usually grows. And I know that still in the Wairarapa as well as in Wellington, people are still meeting and playing and discovering this kind of connection of meeting through the music without the need of talking so much.
Thank you so much. Are there any questions from the floor this morning? Okay, Doug, that's great. I think everything is in your application. It's really clear and so interesting. What a great history you have with your art and creativity. Jonah staff will be in touch with you on the next step of our process very soon. Okay, thank you so much.
Yeah.
And Marina,
Thank you. Ka kite.
kite. Morena Gina Lay. Hello, Gina. Can you hear us, Gina? Hello, Gina. Morena, can you hear me, Gina? Okay, we can't hear you. So could you unmute yourself, perhaps? How are we going?
Morena, can you hear me now?
Yes, we certainly can. Can you hear us?
Yes, I can. Thank you.
Oh, look, welcome this morning. Looking forward to hearing from you. You certainly know the drill. Just 3 minutes to speak to your wonderful presentation, and there'll be a buzzer at 2.5 minutes and then questions. Gina, welcome. The floor is yours.
Sure, thank you. Good morning. This is a new application for Creative Monarchy to deliver children's workshops, specifically to employ the services of 5 creative tutors. And to be able to help subsidise the tutor fees and to keep the cost of those workshops lower for the participants. These workshops would be delivered as part of Design and Arts 2022, the first week of the school holidays in October, and also the last 2 weeks, I should say, of the summer school holidays as part of our Kapiti Summer Series, which runs from the 20th of January to the 19th of February. So they cover a diverse range of art forms, so encouraging rangatahi aged between 4 years of age up to 18 years of age, and delivering workshops primarily in Parapomo but also in Otaki, and with the support of sponsored venues. The art forms covered include Māori drawing using Matauranga Māori, knowledge from Leon Hohipa, also Storm Davenport with animal planters and creating sharks and whales, and Rob to help make paper making workshops, which includes the postage of the items made from native plants as well. Alison Clark, we've got gargoyles scheduled to be made with her, and also Rebecca for painting and art workshops. So a mixture of art forms, and this helps achieve 3 of our goals as an organisation: to increase access and participation in creative skills, to increase sustainable income for creatives, and to strengthen creative practice as well. We have been running workshops for children and adults since October last year, and so we know that we need some supplementary support in terms of funding or sponsorship to help keep the cost of these workshops down. For example, we tried to run the workshops at the bare minimum cost of $60 for Storm Davenport in the first week of June this year, and the feedback we received was it's just too high for parents to pay, but at $30 it's feasible. So that's essentially the reason why we're applying to the Creative Community Scheme for funding. I think the only other thing to say is that we've got 2,500 followers on social media, so we'll certainly be able to acknowledge the support from the Kapiti Creative Community Scheme and also have a good reach into the community to advertise these workshops. Happy to take questions.
Thank you. Jenna, I have a question from Deputy Mayor Janet Hobro.
Kia ora, Jenna.
Kia ora, Jenna.
Apologies I couldn't make it to your opening last night. We had a candidates debate. I hope it went well at Kiwi
Thank
Bank.
you. Yes.
Thank you for all the work that you do, not just these, but as usual, this is a big project. Have you run the scale of workshops before? It wasn't clear. I mean, you've done it before, but has it always been 13
Yes.
workshops?
Yes, so we ran 15 workshops in 10 days in June this year. And you may recall that's when we had tornadoes. In fact, one hit my house that day.
Oh my God.
Yeah, and all of that rain that we had, I actually thought that, and I warned my tutors that chances are people will cancel. We also had a lot more community cases of COVID at that time. And I'm pleased to say that all the parents just loved having access to those workshops, especially in winter, especially in rainy days. So we've got quite a following now from some of those workshops and also from workshops we ran during the Arts Trail last year in November. Those were collage workshops and drawing workshops. There seems to be a real lack of access to basic workshops for children. So we are looking at something during term time next year on a more regular basis for parents. But in the meantime, we've got a following and the demand is there, and we're trying to gather all of our creative tutors together to help them also increase their income.
Oh, that's absolutely amazing, Jenna. Just one little question. Some of these activities seem to be skating the line between arts offerings and craft offerings, and that's just something we have to be quite careful of as a committee. Do you have any comment about that, like bookbinding? I don't think that's something that
the application, I gave a more full example of how these workshops fit into the wider program of workshops. So for example, there are other tutors. So Sarah does bookbinding, for example. So we want to, and that is the gap in the school system where there's a lack of access to those tactile skills. So that's where a lot of the demand is coming from, but that's not what I'm seeking funding for today. It is for the, I suppose, paper making may fit into the object arts craft activities. So that's about also creating awareness of our native plants and where paper comes from. And also Alison with the gargoyles, so that's paper mache making. Rebecca is doing art, drawing and painting of ceramic cups and plates. Storm with the clay workshops for children, and Leon will be doing drawing as well. So yeah, sorry, I wasn't aware that some of those craft activities might not be able to be considered.
Yeah, I've been doing this scheme for quite a few years, so you get to know kind of the nitty gritty of what's eligible and what's not. But I just want to say also congratulations on the tutors that you've secured. You know, some incredible lineup of tutors there. So
that's an oversight on my part. I shouldn't. I needed to actually spend some time saying how qualified they were. They are professional practice creatives. And we want to secure the best and work with the best and offer the best here on the Kapiti Coast. Our longer term vision would be that we are seen as the district in the Wellington region where people will come to access creative skills training. So we are trying to elevate that level, and we think children deserve that as well. When we have such a wonderful range of creative skills here in our district, we definitely want to make the most of that opportunity.
Yeah, certainly starting to achieve those goals. Thank you, Jenna.
Thank you. Just a question, Janet, about the clay making workshops and whether that would be considered. And just to let you know that in discussions with the Otaki Pottery Club, for example, we will be running those workshops here in Parapomu Beach at Storm Davenport Studio on different days to what the Otaki Pottery Club have scheduled in October. So we are making every effort to make sure that we are collaborating and complementing what others may be doing in this space as well.
Thank you, Gina. Staff can give a response to that question and responses. Thank you. And question from Michelle.
Hi
and then
there,
Grant.
Gina Leah. Sorry I couldn't come last night either. A clash, but I'll make sure I get down and see the exhibition.
Sure, thank you.
I don't have much to ask you because I know how hard you work. I just want to say congratulations on what you're doing.
Oh,
And
thank you so much.
See what we can do for you, but just be reminded it's not a lot this year.
I understand that.
The pot. But I absolutely love where you're going.
I totally understand that and appreciate your support. We it has been a tough year, and we've certainly I just want to comment, even though this is an art scheme, the feedback we're getting from parents from the community is, and even with our adult workshops, is that the well-being aspect of being creative with on an individual basis, but also being able to connect in person with people again, that well-being aspect can't be underestimated, which is why this was our top priority for this funding round, to put this application in.
Good luck.
Thank you so much. Thank you, team.
Thank you. And Grant Stevenson.
Hi, Janelle. Grant's my name. We
Sure,
haven't met,
Grant.
but I have heard of you, and I know you're a good friend to the Kapiti district. An obvious question, but there may also be a quick and easy answer. You're paying $1,200 for a venue cost, but you're running a holiday program. Have you thought of running this at schools and talking to them?
Yes. That was my first choice, actually. So one of the basic things that we need is wet floors and wet areas. So that really means in an art room. And so in talking with Kapiti College, for example, it's $150 to hire their classroom for a day. It's got parking, it's got toilets. So that's $50 more than the venue that we have secured to run these workshops for this application. There is a possibility in Raumati Village at the Kapiti Children's Centre where we can have some sponsored children workshops there, but it is an early childhood centre, and we're mindful that some of the older children don't want to go to a younger person's venue. So I'm open to all suggestions around suitable venues, and we certainly do our research on that front. But another one was Kapiti Impact Church or Impact Trust, and looking at the venue over the railway tracks in Parapomu. We looked at community hall hire as well. You're really looking at a minimum of about $150 a day in that ballpark. So we're trying to get the cost down. That is one of the bigger costs in running these workshops, is venue hire, along with tutor, labour hire and material costs. So with Storm, for example, the kiln firing afterwards, those materials, and even with someone like Rob, we've squashed the figures down as much as we can. Otherwise, the tutors walk. They said we just cannot, deliver these workshops for this price. So what I've put for you today has been well researched in terms of those operating costs.
Thank you, Gina.
Sorry, I just had one venue you haven't mentioned is Zeal. They have an art room. Is that a conversation?
Oh, okay. That would be brilliant, especially for our older age groups. Yes.
Yeah. I wonder. We're having a chat to Hamish, maybe.
Good thought. Thank you, Gina. Staff will be in touch in the next step of the process, and good luck, and thank you.
Thank you. Have a good day.
Okay.
Hello.
Marina, Angela, welcome to the meeting this morning. You have 3 minutes to speak to your application, and a buzzer will go off at 2.5 minutes, and then there'll be time for some questions if needed. Thank you. Floor is yours.
Okay, hi there. So obviously I'm Angela Robertson. I've been running workshops in and around Kapiti, in Kapiti and the Horowhenua, and actually speaking in many places all over the country about positive aging. But the round today is really about the Write Your Story workshops. Because I've written so many stories about older people all over New Zealand in a series of books called the Older and Bolder series, I found that I couldn't keep up with the demand. So I was writing these stories in exchange for a pot of jam, actually. I've interviewed about 100 people, and people kept saying, do my story. And I couldn't do any more stories. I just did not have the capacity to do that. So I started to run the workshops. And I ran the workshops as a series of workshops, mainly for older people, are the ones that tend to come along, to help them capture their own story as a legacy project. So I call them living legacies. And it's been a really rewarding exercise. So the people range in age mainly between 60 and 95. The oldest person's been 102 in the Kapiti district, who come along to these workshops. And all I ask them to bring is a notebook and a pen, and I supply all of the materials, but it's quite expensive. Of course, I'm going to find some now. It's quite expensive to print them all off. In fact, I've just done some now for tomorrow's ones. So I print off stuff so that they can take it away. We work on their projects in the workshops, but I also give them stuff to take away, the papers, so that they've got something to be able to maintain momentum with for when they come back the following week. And then they start to share their stories. And so some of these stories are really big stories, like they're stories about living life in New Zealand, mainly life in New Zealand or coming to New Zealand, sometimes during the war or post-war. And sorry, you can't see me, is that right? Beg your pardon for that. Or post-war. And some of them are capturing social histories of New Zealand, which are things about the union movement starting up, or being adopted, being an adopted child in New Zealand and growing up, or coming to New Zealand post-war, not being able to speak the language and growing up in, say, Polish communities. Nursing, what nursing was like in the early days, going to sea on ships like the Pamir, that a first job being a deck boy on the Pamir in Wellington. So anyway, the workshops have been a series of 5 workshops, each 2.5 hours long, and I provide morning tea because these are older people and they need the break in between times. Is there anything you'd like to ask me?
Yes, Michelle Scullion.
Hi, congratulations. It's a brilliant idea. And I love history as well. You even got me going when you just said the history of what it was like the nurses back then. So these stories, you're getting these people to write, which is fantastic. Have you got sort of like a dream or a plan to put them somewhere so that the rest of us can actually access? I know these are private stories per person, but wouldn't it be wonderful to be able to open it up? Have you got a vision to be able to do that?
Yes, I have. Through doing this, I still do my own writing. So I'm writing a book at the moment called Entrepreneurs at 50 Plus, and this is the Kapiti New Zealand, Kapiti and Horowhenua network that I set up since I semi-retired. So I'm currently in the process of capturing their stories of how they started those businesses in the second half of life, mainly in the Kapiti area. Because my time has been spent doing this and the positive aging things, I haven't got to producing that book this year, whereas last year I launched 2 books about local people. These are the collections of stories like this. The other thing I did earlier in the year with Kapiti District Council was the Celebrating Mother's Day. I didn't actually put this book together. The council ladies put this book together, but I went out to my network, which is quite broad now with the story writing, to say, did you want to submit one of the stories that you've written about your mom? And they did. So that display was on in the Kapiti Library, and it was also then moved to Coastlands Mall. And more recently, since we've been talking, lots and lots of topics come up that there's a genuine interest in sharing. And one of them has been the coronation, you know, the Queen's coronation.
Brilliant.
So obviously the Queen was, her coronation was held in the UK, but they were saying, oh, well, I was in the UK when that happened, and this is what we did. You know, we all dressed up, or we had our street party indoors because it was a wet day over there. When others were saying, oh, well, in New Zealand, this is what we did. We listened to the proclamation and it went blah, 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 because these were children back then, you know, they went blah, 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 blah. But then the Queen came and we all went to see her in our Girl Guide uniforms, or we went to, we went to Athletic Park. So I thought that was a really nice bunch of stories that could be collected that were saying, well, in those days, you know, the Queen was a highly respected personality. And when she came, she was seen to be very glamorous. But also it was the year of the Tangawai disaster. So, so there's kind of two things going on there. So what's the personal stories around that? The issue is time, having the time to pull those ones, and also getting the permission from those individuals to do that. Because most of these people want to do it for their families. So when they think it's going anywhere public with their name on it, because obviously I'd acknowledge it, it's a different thing.
Yeah. Thank you, Angela. I had a question myself. I noticed in your budget there's 2016-90 for the colour print handout.
Yes.
And I guess it's a similar question to Michelle's, is that there is nothing in the budget here to fund putting these words in print so that the participants get that sort of joy of seeing their piece in print or between covers. Have you at any time in these workshops actually been able to publish, and even in some rudimentary way, you know, the books for each person to take away with them?
Not really, no, because they don't finish that story in a 5-week period. So some of these people, they take years to do their stories. I have actually helped some people to put their own stories together. I've got samples of that. For example, sorry, I keep having to go away because I've got so many.
No, that's all right.
So this lady here is Kath Turkington, and Kath Turkington lives at Coastal Villas. And she contacted me and she says, they keep giving me these parties. This is not in the thing. They keep giving me these parties, and every year because they don't expect me to be around for the next one. So, you know, 1995.
Oh, wonderful.
And the 100th birthday was coming up, and she says, I've been writing my story. So she started it about 10 years ago. And she talks about the 1940s exhibition in Wellington. And she talks about her dad when the Wellington railway station was being built. She talks about how she met her husband, and also about when her husband died, that he died on their wedding anniversary.
Oh,
and
that's sad. What a wonderful legacy for her family.
It is.
Yeah.
Then we went into lockdown. So I had her stuff, and this was the first lockdown when we thought we were all going to die, you know, and I rang her and said, oh, look, Kath, I've got your stuff, and you better let your boys know they're in the Waikato in the Bay of Plenty, that, you know, I've got your photos. And she said, oh, it's all right, dear. I'm not 100 till August. This was
fantastic.
So that's what we did.
On that note, that sounds wonderful. On that note, look, Angela, we'll have to leave it there, and staff will be in touch with you on the next step of the process. But thank you. It's been great.
Is that all you need from me?
Yep, that's it.
Okay, then. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye. Morena, good morning, Chris. Can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
You certainly can. They're loud and clear. You have 3 minutes to speak to us to your application, There'll be a buzzer after 2.5 minutes, and then maybe some time for some questions. Chris, thank you for your application, and fire away, the floor is yours.
Yeah, good morning. Hi, I'm Chris Craddock. I'm here representing Music Festivals and Events New Zealand Board. We've run the Kapiti Music Festival for over a decade, and in the last few years we've run a Summer Music in the Park, which you've kindly supported, creative community. So this coming year in 2023, we wish to run another Summer Music in the Park. It'll be in McLean Park, which is a beautiful venue. It's got a power source there that we've got access to, and that'll be on Saturday, the 28th of January 2023. And as I said, we've run it the last 3 years. It's been highly supportive. A lot of participants come along, large audience, beautiful day, an opportunity for local artists to present music to the local community. It's a free event because of your support that you give us. And yeah, it's a wonderful afternoon. We're actually going to start in the morning and have a really full day. That's our plan. We've got a list of suggested artists there. And then that's a mixture of youth, a lot of local supporters there. The jazz band that I played in, Brasso, they've played at every Jazz in the Park, for instance, for over a decade now, and they've been a mainstay of our Summer Music in the Park. There's a mix of genre there as well. You can see Peyton Moret is there. She's off at university now, a local Kapiti girl, and she's been at every one of our events for Kapiti Music Festival since she was 8 years old. So that's why we've suggested that she entertain at the start of the day. So well, we would really appreciate if you will continue to support this wonderful live music event happening on the Kapiti coast.
Thank you, Chris. Are there any questions from the floor? Yes, there is from Tama.
Kia ora. I was just wondering, are you planning on having anything else on the day, like food trucks or something? Or is it just going to be live music?
No, it's a purely focus on live music.
Cool. Thank you.
Chris, just wondering, we're the grants round is oversubscribed. And I asked, will your performance still go ahead if we are unable to grant the full amount that you've requested?
Yes, certainly the event can go ahead, and I noticed in the last couple of years you've only been able to assist us to a 50% level. So then we reassess the whole day. There's ways of getting around that. We can possibly shorten the day. We can change some of the artists. But last year, for instance, we actually went to another funding source, which is the good thing that this round is so early, and our event's on the 28th of January at the end of the period that you're funding. If you only partially funded us, then we could actually go to another funding source to supplement it. Then hopefully we could run the full day.
Thank you so much. Are there any other questions? Yes, Grant Stevenson.
Hi, my name is Grant. Do you have a rain day? Do you have a postponement plan?
Our postponement plan is that we go to the wet weather venue, which is Hula, across the road, and we normally go upstairs there. And yeah, that's a great event. It's a family orientated area. And yeah, so we go to our rain area.
Okay.
Thank you, Chris. There don't appear to be any further questions. Staff will be in touch with you on the next step of your process. And thank you. Wish for your sunny day for your event. And they'll be in touch.
All right. Thank you so much for allowing me to speak. And we really appreciate your ongoing support.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Thanks.
We shall now take a short adjournment and we will reconvene the meeting at